An honest answer would be a mistake.
How can a modern-day manager not have a mobile phone?
Why should he?
OK, Champions League evening is progressing. Joe Molloy and Damien Delaney here in studio. I'm just watching Atlanta score their second penalty of the night. They lead 6-2 in the tie. They're heading for the quarterfinals. No fans at the Mestalla Stadium, although there are a ton of Valencia fans. Well, I say a ton, I don't know how many exactly, but lots anyway, who have gathered outside the stadium to make noise and sing the songs and cheer on the team from outside the stadium. A game they can't see. So there's a bunch of them outside the stadium singing their songs, encouraging the team, but they've no idea what's happening.
In mass gatherings.
Yeah. So that game happening behind closed doors, but in Leipzig, full attendance thus far anyway, 46 minutes on the clock. Leipzig 2, Spurs 0. It's 3-0 on aggregate, and Spurs have been outclassed all the way, really, is the short version.
Leipzig are breathtaking when they're playing opposition the calibre of Tottenham.
Breathtaking?
Yeah, I mean, listen, when they play opposition the calibre of Tottenham, because Tottenham are allowing them to implement everything they want. It's like I won't say it's like a training game, it's not, but it's similar to it, where they're just, it's almost as if Tottenham have told, it's passive, we're working on the first team here, so let them, because they can't get near them. And Leipzig are just a joy to watch. And as I said, when they go deeper in the competition, or when they play Bayern in the Bundesliga, obviously they'll get caught because they're not physically the most imposing team. But I really hope that Liverpool come through tomorrow night, because I would love dearly to see Leipzig play Liverpool.
How's Eric Dyer doing as a centre-half?
Look, I said at the top of the show, he's something up with him, or his legs have gone, because he's not as he was never the most mobile, but he was always, he got away with it, or but putting him middle of three, kind of Jose's kind of hung out to dry a little bit, because he's having to cover around behind the right side of three and the left side of three, so he's kind of has maybe 30 yards either side of him in the middle of the pitch to cover, and he seems to be getting across, and there's a lot of latch ditch kind of stuff going on, and there's a lot of dropping early, trying to get the cover on, which isn't necessarily fantastic for the rest of the team. But look, it's not like Jose has an alternative or anything else to do, but it's midfield where they're really getting cleaned out. Lo Celso and Winks can't get to grips with them, and then you've got Lucas Moura, Dele Alli trying to fit in and help out, but there's not a defensive bone between the four of them.
Well, you were saying, even just in the news there, that Lo Celso most certainly did not join the club to play defensive midfielder on a night like this.
No, I mean, he's obviously a creative player, but I'm sure Jose will convince him, look, just do a job. But on top of that, no one's expecting anything of him. Just please do a job, because we don't really have anyone else, and I know a lot of people say, there's got to be players in the youth team or players in the under-23s or whatever. If you put a player, an under-23s player who hasn't played first team football before, and you throw him into a night like this, you could finish his career, because he could be on the end of an almighty hiding that he might not recover from.
Okay.
Right, so
I'm just conscious Chelsea have had 7 academy graduates debut this season.
Yeah, this season, not in a Champions League last 16.
Sure.
No, if Jose was going to do it against a Burnley or something like that, fair enough, but he obviously feels that, look, even if it goes wrong, Celso's big enough to deal with it, he's a big enough character, he's got a kind of a CV behind him that, he's going to get criticised, or people might not criticise him because they say, well, he's not a number 6. So, and that kind of goes back to the Troy Parrott thing, there's been an awful lot of, loose comments from players that should know better, people saying stuff like, oh, sure, what's the worst that could happen?
Ian Wright said that, yeah. Get him on, give him a chance.
Right, but what if it doesn't work out for him? If he's not ready and you throw him in, he's 18, 19 years of age, he might not recover. So the worst that could happen is you've all this hype around him, he comes in the team, and it doesn't go well for him, because, let's be honest, it's not going to go well. Look at the state Tottenham are in. You want to be bringing him into a Man City or a Liverpool where he's just a little cog in the wheel and he almost gets swept along by the tidal wave of success. He's not going to turn Tottenham's year around. And what you could do is, Tottenham fans have been calling for him, Ian Wright's been calling for him, but if it doesn't go well, all of a sudden it's like, oh, that was all hype, and he's, geez, yeah, God, we really got sold a pup there, didn't we? And all of a sudden he has to read all that stuff on social media. And 18 years of age, he could be written off as a hoax. So I think Jose is right in the way he's handling him.
Well, mark my words, everyone. 50 minutes on the clock. Spurs 3-0 down on aggregate. Come back to us in 40 minutes when Troy Parrott scored a hat-trick. Spurs are going through in the away goal rule. Can I just say as well, chance here for Spurs? No, comes to nothing. Hugo Lloris had a big hand, and by big hand I mean a weak hand, in both goals as well.
Yeah.
The first one, he dived, he got down to it, it wasn't right in the corner, and he just didn't save it, even though he got a serious hand to it.
I was going to mention it, but look, I mean...
And then the second goal, he was beaten at his near post. I know you're not as you think that may be an outdated thing with the modern day ball.
Massively outdated statement.
But he still got a hand to it at the near post. So he got a serious,
blistering header, man.
Serious hand to both goals, Hugo Lloris.
He did, and Hugo Lloris in his prime, or an Alisson or top keeper in the Premier League, you'd probably say should save that. Potentially, and if Tottenham were going to go through tonight...
How is 33-year-old Hugo Lloris not at his prime anymore? There's something gone awry in this man's career.
Definitely.
Big time. So he's most certainly not the player he was, that's for sure.
No, definitely not. And I just think that, if Tottenham were to get through tonight, they were going to need a goalkeeper to be man the match and have an absolute worldie. And he hasn't. No, he's not made 2 saves. You could argue that he could make them, but they weren't catastrophic errors. I wouldn't sit here and lump it all on him. It was a well-struck shot that was bending away from him on a greasy surface.
The first one was unacceptable for this standard. Can't win the competition with mistakes like that. That was really bad.
I won't go as far as say really bad, but it wasn't great.
This is what I'm stuck with.
We're debating really bad and catastrophic.
So we're 5 years old here.
No, but what I'm saying is they weren't like absolute clangers. We go,
it was a clanger.
It wasn't David De Gea Everton where he just boot. You know what I mean? It's 1,000,000% his fault.
I would use the word disgrace for that, though.
That is catastrophic. Yeah. I mean, it's not great.
Sorry, my disgrace is your catastrophic. Can we get some kind of word
table in
metric here at a little table?
Yeah. Look, granted,
if your goalkeeper had made that mistake at 0-0, what would your reaction have been? Exactly.
Yeah, I'd be raging, to be honest.
That's quite bad. No, you would have been raging, exactly. So.
Okay, next time.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Chin up, come on.
Yeah, you did your best. You did your best.
It's a taking part, but you tried.
Exactly. So Leipzig are going through almost certainly, and Spurs, if it stays 2-0, if they get out of here with the 2-0 defeat, it's acceptable. They move on.
I think it's a win for them. Yeah, they go well. It wasn't terrible.
Yeah.
But as I said earlier, I would love to see Leipzig play Liverpool.
Well, on that note, so tomorrow, quick early thoughts. The news, by the way, is that Jordan Henderson trained on Sunday and Monday, so he is going to play. The other news is that Alisson is out of the game. That's a big loss. And Jurgen Klopp in his press conference today was talking about preparing his players for Atletico's gamesmanship. And so we're all going to go again. We'll talk about this game a lot more tomorrow. Initial thoughts on it, given that it's a very precarious high-wire act for Liverpool. If they concede a goal, they're in trouble.
It's brilliant. And then this is what we all look forward to all year. We kind of put up the group stages to get to these types of scenarios.
And Damien, I should add, it's not just you in studio tomorrow. Kenny Cunningham as well.
Yeah. We love Kenny.
We'll be eating chips. This time tomorrow we'll be eating Burdock's chips.
Yeah, me and Kenny will be arguing.
What do you think then?
Look, this is why we look forward to these, and it's impossible to call. It's so close. I mean, it could be a small little decision would tip in their favour.
Yeah.
I think that with Alisson being out, not massively, Henderson coming back, what I would say is I think Liverpool might need to rejig their midfield anyway. If they go with the usual trio of Henderson, Wijnaldum, and who's the third one? Jesus.
No, Gabriel Jesus, he plays for Man City.
Who? I said Wijnaldum.
You said Jesus.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, I'm being childish. It depends. So they need Wijnaldum, Henderson, Keita,
Fabinho, maybe. I think they need to get a creative one in there. If they go with the 3 workman-like midfield of Wijnaldum, Fabinho, Henderson, or Keita, I just think that suits Atletico. Because they will go, no problem. We know none of you have a real pass in your locker that, I mean, you can open up a lot of defences, but you're not going to open them up. I'm talking a David Silva type pass now or something really,
So who are you thinking?
I would probably, I'm not saying I'd start Oxlade-Chamberlain, but I would be certainly, I mean, it would definitely have been under consideration that they're going, okay, we struggle to break them down. Another area where they'll break them down is wide. They set up interesting, numerical kind of battles. Atletico do. They basically just go, we put our 2 centre forwards back. We've our 2 centre midfield players, 2 centre forwards against Liverpool's 3. So they've won up there. So there's 4v3 there. Their wide player and their full back deal with Liverpool's wide player and full back, and they basically go 2 for 2 there.
Yeah.
You know, and then obviously they have nobody marking their Liverpool centre backs. So they basically go with 0v2 there. So you can have that, knock yourselves out, but our 2 centre backs will deal with your centre forward. So that's kind of the way they go with it. And I just feel that, like, they get comfortable, they get set, and they're happy in those numerical advantages. The 2v2 wide is definitely somewhere where they'll have to get some joy. You know, their 2v2 will have to come out on top against the Atletico's full-back wide man. So that means Robertson needs to have the game that he had, but Trent also needs to have a fantastic game, and they need to get a kind of ticks in the win column in those areas there. Maybe an Oxlade-Chamberlain just to get in amongst that midfield, because if there's no real creativity, or they just get that box set, it's very difficult. They don't move, they set and they don't budge. Oxlade-Chamberlain can pick the ball up and travel with it, you know what I mean, in tight spaces, and that's one way of breaking it up, because, you know, you might get it disjointed a little bit there. But it's very, very too close to call. And it's a fascinating game. I'm really looking forward to seeing what Klopp will come up with. Does he believe that what he went with out in the Wanda Metropolitano will be good enough back at Anfield with the crowd and everything, and it's good enough? Will he go for it? Or will he make a little change somewhere along the line?
No, it's going to be fascinating. And you would think that Liverpool, what you're saying there about the joy potentially at wide and coming out on top in the 2v2s, that is something they could feel. We have a real chance of doing that. We could really, you know, have some joy there. But equally, of late, you could imagine Diego Simeone and his backroom team sitting down watching the tape of Liverpool defensively and saying, if we pick our moment, and that's the key point, because you said Atletico will pick their moment. They won't commit men forward until they look around and say, right, we're not going to be caught here. But if we can, you know, pick our moment here, the way Liverpool are defending at the moment gives us real hope.
And that's when you get to this level that those players are so technically good enough that they will pick the right moment. That's where you kind of would want Alisson in your team, because Liverpool do hedge a lot of their bets that, you know, if you do get in behind us or you do get a chance, we back ourselves that we have a fantastic goalkeeper, and, you know, we won't give up many chances. So if he's not playing, he definitely, like, Alisson wouldn't make a mistake, right? You know he's going to be rock solid. But with Adrian, you're kind of going, oh God, he could drop a cross, he could just spill a shot and gift them a goal. That's in his locker. Now, if Atletico cut them open and create a great chance and score, you hold your hands up, you know. But Liverpool kind of probably won't be as sure of a flawless goalkeeping performance tomorrow night. But look, I think definitely Trent has to have a good game tomorrow night, because they were kind of, you know, when you look out there, I think Robertson got a little bit of joy, probably came out even in his 2v2 against the full-back wide player, with Mane going off as well. So, you know, but I definitely think Atletico came out on top on the other side. You know, I mean, Trent was very, very poor. Yeah,
and like, it's not like he's covered himself in glory necessarily since. Like, the performance against Watford was very poor on his part. So. And it's also but you just know they'll all be a bit better.
Listen, the mind will be a little bit more focused tomorrow night, you know.
So it's going to be fantastic. Come here, from the weekend, just 2 quick things to glance back at. Billy Gilmore.
Yeah, brilliant.
Brilliant as well, It's unanimous.
I mean, one for the good guys, you know, because everyone always says, oh, you know, you're too small for the Premier League, or, you know, I don't care how tippy-tappy he is, you know, he'll get people will run right over the top of him. It was almost like, no, it can't happen. But having said that, now the cat's out the bag almost, or the secret's out, people will be going, okay, we cannot let him dictate the games the way that he can, we cannot let him implement his style, and he is very lightweight. You know, so I think there was definitely an element of, like, I won't say surprise, because I think Liverpool would have known he was going on, but they wouldn't have catered for him. Whereas I think the next team that play Chelsea and he's in the lineup, someone's going to say, listen, please do not let him start, like, dictating things here. And if there is a problem, what a lot of managers will do, he'll release one of his midfield players to go, do you know what, just please go and nail him. Like, and just stop that, please, because that's where all the tempo comes from. And then that's up to him to kind of develop as a player and overcome that. You know, I know he's not going to get bigger or stronger, because he is what he is, but, you know, he can become like some of these Leipzig players that are here tonight, unbelievably quick in their brain as well, one touch, two touch, you know. So That's part of his development, and I'll be looking forward to seeing how it goes. But
Yeah, for sure. And I suspect like he's got to where he is today, and somewhere along the line, and probably several times, somebody, youth football, reserve team football, has tried to smash him and said, no, you're not doing this.
Yeah, I mean, not necessarily like smash him, because you can't do it anymore, but I mean, almost just go, do you know what, just please go and stand on him.
No, give him the Ji Sung Park Pirlo treatment.
Yeah, I mean, really just go and like stop this guy setting the tempo for Chelsea. And you're right, it would have happened, and he's obviously come through that okay. But it'll be a different test if someone goes and sends like an absolute jackhammering on top of him, you know. Yeah.
But it was a joy to watch thus far, and just beautiful.
Yeah, exactly, and you have to appreciate that footballers that are still being out there and still being given a chance, you know.
Because Everton didn't seem to do much to close him down at the weekend either. So maybe they did plan to, and maybe he just found a way to find space and manipulate space. We'll find out over the coming weeks. That was with Kovacic, Jorginho, Kante, Loftus-Cheek, Pulisic, Tammy Abraham, Hudson-Odoi, all injured as well. Yeah, it's quite the strength and depth they have. The other thing was the Manchester derby.
Yeah.
Ole's back at the wheel.
I knew you were going to say that.
He's back at the wheel.
He's not back at the wheel.
2 hands on that wheel.
He lost the car a long time ago.
Actually, he's got one hand on the wheel, he's got the other hand behind his head. He's cruising.
He's
cruising. So, guys, talk to us about this. Come on. He's turned this around. 10 wins or 10 games unbeaten, 8 clean sheets. Here's the key point.
Okay.
8 clean sheets in 10. They've conceded just 2 games overall.
Okay.
Bruno Fernandes, I know we scoffed with the Varane Scholes thing, and they were lofty comparisons. Yeah. Although weirdly, Varane was a bit of a flop at United, but you know, we take the point. He was a good player. He may not be that, obviously, but it's not at least another 50, 60 million wasted, which they've done several times over. He's been given Player of the Month. Yes, they still are counter-attacking their way to some of these bigger wins. I accept that. Yeah. But I genuinely thought about 2 months ago this thing was going to career into an awful situation, out of control, and he's turned it around.
The bar was set extremely low with his first half of the season, and he's improved on that. No end. I mean, you can't. You know, he's stemmed the bleeding, and he's got them moving in the right direction. But they're still a million miles away from like
challenging. He says they're three or four players away from challenging.
No, they're not. I mean, they're a counter-attacking team. They have some players there that just aren't, you know, up to. I mean, how do I say? Winning the league now isn't a case of like when Manchester United win the league in the 90s and 2000s, as was pointed out before, 75, 80 points was enough, right? That means you can afford to drop points, you can afford to carry a couple of players and have off days and whatever. The 2 teams that you have at the moment have changed that. It's a sprint from the get-go. I remember before when I was growing up...
Sorry to interrupt, do you think it's always going to be like that now?
I think so, yeah. Because these guys can keep throwing money at it. Well, Man City almost certainly can, and Liverpool have put themselves in such a good position financially, you know, that they're almost starting with a clean slate. Man United still are like so much money wasted. Can they keep sustaining, adding 4 or 5 players, you know, especially when they're not going to be able to resell a lot of what they have and move? Maybe Pogba, you might get some money back for, I'm not sure, but it's a sprint now from the get-go. When I was growing up...
They'll get some money back from it. They will get 100 million from Pogba.
Okay, but will they sell him? Do they want to sell him?
Yeah.
You think so?
Oh, it's over. It's over.
Yeah, maybe.
He wants to go, they want him to go. 100 million. They get someone else in. That's one of the 3 players to challenge.
That's fair enough. But what I'm saying is, to win a league now, you have to do what Liverpool and Man City are doing at the minute, and that's 100 points. 95.
Sure, no,
right?
Yeah.
To get 95 points, you have no idea, like, what we're witnessing last year and this year. It is insane, the pace these 2 have set. And I don't believe Manchester United probably have, I'd say, off the top of my head, 6 players that are capable of sprinting a marathon, because that's what it is right now. They have 10 that just will kind of do okay, and then they've got 5 or 6 that'll show up when they feel like it. You will never get back. I mean, they might get 3rd.
I was just going to say, if they get Pogba out, get another good player in, Sancho seems to be on the market this summer, maybe someone else, and if they finish 3rd next season, manage to nick Champions League football and make the Champions League knockout stages, play some decent football, finish within 15 points of Liverpool, presumably at this stage next year, then that gets them another season.
Okay, but what's the end game here? Man United will be back winning leagues and Champions Leagues. That's the end game.
I know, but they really, I mean, look, I will concede and agree with you. They're a long way off that, regardless of who the manager is.
I think that a better manager could get them a little bit closer, a little further up the road. Yeah, I do. And again, I know they done well with Wan-Bissaka, Maguire, and Fernandes. They're going to need 3 more of that calibre. That can really.
What is it you're still not seeing in United's performances when you say a better manager than Solskjaer? What is it that you don't quite?
They just
like?
counter-attack.
Yeah.
A lot of the players. I mean, Martial's getting a lot of credit at the moment.
Ever since you gave him a kicking, actually, he's really.
Yeah, look, man. I mean, even the other night, even they gave man of the match the other night, but I still look at him, man. I mean,
you're not convinced.
I mean, let's say a ball gets played over the top and he doesn't get it. He walks and walks and walks and walks. It's just not for me.
Here's the question. So Solskjaer may be playing counter-attacking football because he looks, in particular, at midfield and feels he doesn't have a team who can dominate, especially against the bigger sides. So his only option is counter-attacking.
Okay.
And maybe if he gets the right personnel in, you'll see the style of play develop. Is that a possibility?
You need 5 or 6 into starting 11.
We're up to 5 or 6 now.
You would, yeah. To change from just being a counter-attacking only.
And would a better manager not need the same 5 or 6 players?
Possibly.
Okay.
But I would trust I would trust Pochettino with 5 or 6 players.
Well, this is the problem with Solskjaer.
As opposed to trusting Solskjaer with 5 or 6 players.
We've no CV to base the trust on. That's the problem.
We do. We got relegated at Cardiff. Here's the CV, Joe.
Oh dear.
And on top of that, you just look at him. He's not got the. I mean, to get a club back from Manchester United from where they are to where they want to be, you need a Jurgen Klopp type personality. A manager that can come in and just breathe unbelievable life into the squad, larger than life. I am the football club now. Come on, let's all go.
Yeah.
And he's not that.
I would say in his defence, he never lost his composure, even when things were really bad, and it looked like he was a game or 2 away from losing the job. And he is somebody who understands the pressure that goes with the club, and I think he's handled it okay. He's not the same as a Klopp. He's not going to inspire the crowd in the way that Klopp does. But because he's a club legend and because he didn't crack under pressure, I'm a little bit more convinced that he can handle it in a less volatile way.
The only reason he kept his job was, A, there was no one really out there that wanted it. I would have thought, it was either Allegri, and Poch probably wasn't ready just yet for it. And he was a club legend, so it bought him all the time in the world. Pre-Christmas, when he was, Jose got crucified, and
but didn't Solskjaer almost maintain his composure and a sense?
I don't think
Solskjaer
ever loses. He just looks like he has that temperament anyway.
Yeah. Whereas Jose, under that pressure, the whole thing turned toxic.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough, but. Yeah, I take your point, but I think, a nuclear bomb could go off outside and Solskjaer would sit there and go, it's a fabulous mushroom cloud, that, isn't it? He just looks at that kind of guy where he's just, that's him.
Is that not a good quality to have?
No, because when you manage a Man United and you're trying to get them, you want to absolutely drive your players and really put them under pressure. And when they turn in performances like they did pre-Christmas, I mean, really, really get on them and say, this is not acceptable. No, they've turned in much better performances after Christmas, and they have been good, and I will give him his credit. He's definitely done more than what I thought he would do.
Yeah.
But that's not the question. The question is, can you get Man United back challenging in Europe and the Premier League? And I don't think he can. I think you need to go and get a Pochettino in there and give Pochettino 4 or 5, maybe even 6 players. And I think he could work more with that than giving it to Solskjaer.
Okay. The latest in Leipzig is it is still 2-0 to Leipzig against Spurs. It's 2-2 between Valencia and Atalanta, but Atalanta is still firmly in control of that tie. 6-4 on aggregate, so I mean they wouldn't want to dice around. Actually, Valencia have just scored another to make it 6-4, 3-2 on the night, so they're making a fist of it, but they're still 2 off Atalanta. And then away goals, Atalanta have scored 2, so they'd need to score. Valencia would need to score another 3 goals tonight. Yes, that's live on air, never too much fun. Valencia need to score another 3, but they're 3-2 up on the night against Atalanta. We're taking a short break. We'll touch on the Slovakian news. I'm not sure too much more what we can say about it, but we'll touch on the news that the game will be played behind closed doors. And then Paddy Agnew will join us from Italy, where things obviously very serious on that front.
Football on Off the Ball
with Paddy Power, the greatest football partnership since Duff and Heskey.
The Pat Kenny Show.
On tomorrow's programme, we talk women's rights with best-selling author Patricia Scanlon, Bill Hughes on an 80s classic, The Big Chill, Luke O'Neill on coronavirus vaccine progress, and of course, all the breaking news.
The Pat Kenny Show.
With Jaguar.
Tomorrow morning at 9.
On News Talk.
Have a great evening with itsforwomen.ie. Don't live your life on hold. Get a quote now at itsforwomen.ie and see why we're trusted by over 130,000 women in Ireland.
Luke Saunders here, secondary teacher and founder of Ireland's largest study website, studyclicks.ie. From first year to sixth year, StudyClicks makes your study easier with past exam questions, quizzes and videos. On average, StudyClicks users get 127 points more than the Leaving Cert average. Start your free trial at studyclicks.ie.
At Expert Electrical Stores, we know no mess is ever the same. That's why we love the new 3-in-1 Miele Triflex cordless vacuum. A handheld for mini messes, an upright for big spreads, reach mode for difficult spaces. Discover the flexibility of the Miele Triflex cordless vacuum at Expert Electrical Stores nationwide and expert.ie.
Upgrade your world with Ireland's lowest rate on loans over 20k with On Post Money. Want to do up the house? Get that new car? Or pay off existing debt with one loan? Get the lowest rate on the market for loans over 20k and approval that's fast and fair with On Post Money. Search On Post Money Loans or visit your local post office. Lending criteria, T's and C's apply. New applications only. Info correct as of 5th of March 2020. Source ccpc.ie for Ireland's lowest rate over 20k. On Post acts as a credit intermediary on behalf of Avantcard DAC. On Post trading as On Post Money is authorised as a credit intermediary by the CCPC. Avantcard DAC trading as Avantcard is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.
With Virgin Mobile, there's nothing hidden. Now you can try unlimited 4G data, calls and texts for only €15 a month for 12 months. All on a 30-day contract. And better yet, everyone can try it. It's an offer that's bigger than big. See virginmobile.ie. Virgin Mobile. Nothing hidden.
Fair usage and T's and C's apply. €25 a month after offer. Ends 3rd of June 2020.
And welcome to today's racing at Cheltenham, and they're off. The Irish Mirror, today's favourite, is already out in front, but each and every day there's interviews with riders on the inside, followed by views from traders, and coming through is our resident tipster, alongside live information on the day as they come into the final.
Get into Cheltenham. Get into the Irish Mirror. In print and online at irishmirror.ie.
Football on Off the Ball.
With Paddy Power. The greatest football partnership since Jeff and Heskey.
Welcome back. Another goal at the Mestalla, so it's gone 3-3 between Valencia and Atalanta. 7-4 in aggregate to Atalanta. They're going through. They were always going through. Actually, a brilliant game. No one was there to see it, mind. And I say, so it was what, 6 goals tonight and no cheering?
I know. Bloody World Health Organisation and the rules.
Yeah, well. So, meanwhile, Leipzig 2, Spurs 0. Spurs in the attack here. Ooh, almost. Spurs are not being obliterated. This is a perfectly acceptable, if it stays like this, finish the evening.
Dele Alli's just gone down injured. That would be just absolutely... I think Jose would walk off if he came off injured and was out for a period of time. He was just... Maybe it's karma for all the years of Jose being Jose.
Lucas Moura with the cross. Dele Alli gets to it. There's no contact initially.
I think it was. He catches his left ankle. He might roll it. Watch. Yeah, I think he just caught him on the left ankle.
Okay.
That could be serious. Look at his left ankle. You can't see it from the angle. Oh, he's all his weight's on it as well.
This was after he made contact with the ball.
Yeah.
He's talking to the referee.
He definitely rolled it, but I'd be interested to see how bad it was.
Not really an injury they can afford just now. Let's go to Paddy Agnew in Rome, I presume, Paddy, as usual?
I'm in Rome, yeah. I'm in my own area and I'm in lockdown.
Yeah, indeed. So, I mean, certainly the epicentre of the European situation in Italy. Talk to us. What's the latest state of play there?
Well, the latest state of play is very dramatic. We have 631 dead now. You know, if you think little more than 10 days ago, with nobody dead. So we've had 630 people dead in the last 10 days. And we have about 10,000 people who've contracted coronavirus. The entire country's under a state of shutdown, in the sense that we used to talk about the red zone, which was the infected area. Well, the whole country's now the infected area, basically. Italy is basically in quarantine. And the Italian government issued a decree last night stating that and imposing a lot of regulations. I mean, basically, you're encouraged to move as little as possible. You can move if you have to go to work. You can move if you have some urgent necessity, and you can move if you have health problems. And, you know, all sorts of things are closed down, like cinemas, theatres, museums, libraries, bars close at 6 o'clock in the evening. And if you were to walk down into the centre of Rome now, or the centre of Turin, or the centre of Milan, you'll find the places empty. They're like 3 o'clock on a January morning. It's everybody's at home.
And just to clarify again, Paddy, did you say 631 dead?
631 dead, yeah.
And 10,000 cases?
10,000 cases. And the good news is that in the opinion of many of the virologists, we haven't got to the worst of it yet. It's still, the number will increase.
Paddy, can you just talk us through when you say under quarantine, like what the actual, that actually is in terms of supermarkets are open? I mean, you said walking down the street in Rome, you are allowed to walk down the street, I presume, or no?
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, you are. Basically, supermarkets are open, but one of the, I'm sure you've seen it, it applies in Ireland too, one of the pieces of advice that's given to people in these circumstances, try and keep your distance from others. So the supermarkets have been asked not to let too many people in. So when I got to my supermarket this morning, and remember, I'm in a small little village north of Rome, there was a queue, which is most unusual. This is 8 o'clock in the morning, a queue for the supermarket. And it's because they're only allowed to let people in 3 at a time. And if that was the case, most people were perfectly reasonable about it and just chatted away. But there was one fellow who, of course, he was a blow-in, we reckoned. He's not from the village, but he started to shout and rant and rave because, what do you hold me up for? I can't be standing out here waiting for you and all that sort of stuff. But by and large, people have been very good about it thus far. But, you know, today's day one.
Have authorities been taken aback at the speed at which things have progressed over the last week, or were they expecting something akin to this, Paddy?
They were now, but the point about the coronavirus is that he's a devilish little blighter, this fellow, and he's hard to spot him. And they now reckon, the virologists reckon that it's been in Italy since the turn of the year, since early in January, and that it was not recognised largely because a lot of the doctors who was dealing with it in January thought it was just a normal January type flu stroke pneumonia. But in fact, and they didn't detect it for at least 3 weeks, if not a month. And in that time, was a lot of incubation went on. So, and that's why the virologists keep on telling us that the worst is yet to come.
So it goes without saying then that the decision to postpone all sport was somewhat inevitable, but that is the state of play. Everything effectively suspended.
Everything's suspended in Italy. Serie A, Serie B, and everything else is suspended. Italy will still be, the Italian clubs will still be playing in European competitions. And indeed, as you just said, Valencia playing tonight, and we have Juventus, Lyon, Napoli, and Barcelona next week. But the whole point about the way of dealing with coronavirus, according to the Chinese and according to the Italians, is you've just got to try and stop people moving around. That is the thing. And you've got to try and avoid large gatherings of people. So, by the way, they'd be looking at something like Cheltenham this week with total horror and saying to themselves, what in the name of God are the English up to? Do they want to spread it? Because the Chinese are absolutely convinced that by imposing the draconian measures that they imposed in Wuhan, they've managed to get a hold of it. And therefore, that's why we're having all our football matches behind closed doors, if we did have them at all. But they don't even want them that way now. And the argument there is that if you have them behind closed doors, people will gather in cafes and bars to watch the game on satellite TV, you know.
Yeah. And obviously we're getting deeper into the realm of speculation, and it's something certainly neither you nor I are qualified to do with any great certainty. But in the context of what you said and what's becoming increasingly clear, Euro 2020 is now in some significant jeopardy, not least because of the nature of this year's championship.
Yeah, because it's the brainchild of Platini. He described the idea that we'll have the European Championships all over the place. And a number of us were very sceptical about the idea to begin with, but we're now convinced it was a disaster, obviously. But it starts in Rome, of course. The opening games in Rome, there are 4 games in Rome, and at this point, those games certainly must be in jeopardy, but not just the Rome games, obviously, because this is not. The problem about coronavirus is it is not an Italian exclusive. You know, you're going to get your slice of it too, lads. Don't worry.
No, it does seem like you're just slightly ahead of the curve, really, and the trajectory of how it developed in Italy is being replicated in other countries. So it would certainly appear that way, and June is quickly coming into focus.
Paddy, quick question for there about the Serie A teams. You know, how are they dealing with it? You know, in terms of their training, are they gathering the staff at training grounds? Is there any word on that?
No, there is. The Federation had a meeting today, and one of the things they considered was a delegation or a point of view put to them by the Players Association that even if football is not going to recommence in Italy on April the 3rd, April 4th, and they've been saying today that maybe we won't restart, because they're not convinced that they can restart unless they're absolutely certain that the coronavirus has been dealt with.
Yeah, so I say it's a fluid situation, but there's every possibility if things didn't calm down by the time April 3rd comes around, then the suspension would be extended, and then you just reach a certain point where the Serie A season is chalked off, incomplete.
Well, that was one of the things we were discussing today. What do we do if that happens? I mean, there seem to be a number of possibilities. One, you could decide, if it isn't too bad, they could add on, as it stands, the season is due to finish May the 17th. They're saying we can add on a couple of days, we'll say May the 20th and May the 31st, and that'll recover the two match days that we're losing now. But if you lose more match days, then you're in terrific trouble. And they said that if that happens, they might consider a number of options. One would be to basically award the title on the basis, not get the championship finished, but award the title on the basis of the standings as they then are. Say you're 3 days from the finish and Juventus are out in front, then they win the title. Or you could decide not to award it at all and just tell UEFA who are the first 4 teams and qualify them for the European competitions. Or you could play a sort of play out and play off, as they call it, for the championship title and for relegation between the top 4 and the bottom 4.
Okay. Well, listen, Paddy, thanks for checking in, and we'll talk to you soon, I suspect.
Oh, yeah, well, this story's going to run and run.
Yeah, it certainly will. Paddy Agnew in Rome there. Thanks very much for that.
Paddy.
By the way, Kevin Kilban was on Virgin Media Sport this evening. He was talking about the Slovakian game now behind closed doors. By the way, if you're one of the 2,200 fans who bought tickets, you will be refunded in full for your ticket anyway. Your travel, I suspect, may be a different story. But Kevin Kilban of the opinion on Virgin that from an Irish point of view with regard to qualification, it's maybe not the worst thing.
It'll certainly be in the mind, yes. But ultimately, there is that job to do. What Brian said there about... I do feel as though we have more of an advantage playing behind closed doors. I do think that. Given the atmosphere that will be generated over there in Slovakia, I think it'll help Mick. I think it'll help the team. And I think the players can just fully focus now on the game. I think that's the way it has to be. We all understand there's a much more serious issue here. There's a wider issue here that's going to be going on. This will continue now for a number of weeks and months ahead. But if we're solely talking about the game itself, that will definitely help Ireland going into the game, and I think it'll help Mick. Mick might try and downplay it as much as he can and try and say, look, it's 11v11 the pitch, which it is, but it'll certainly help the side. Yeah, I think that just makes sense, doesn't it? If you're playing at home, the crowd there, the referee,
it's an advantage if there's no crowd there. Then referee less influenced by 40,000 people screaming at him, and whatever advantage you get from being cheered on by your home team is gone. So
you probably would say that if there's no crowd, there's no atmosphere. It could end up being a dead game, you know, where nobody's really kind of, you know, everyone's kind of jabbing each other and nothing's really happening. Yeah. I think that would suit Ireland a little bit more, really, to be honest with you, because I could imagine us nicking a goal, and then if they're chasing the game, they may not be able to get, you know, they might not have the roar of the crowd behind them, getting them back into it. So, look, it's definitely a help for us, definitely.
I'm really interested to look. Obviously, I'm certainly not suggesting this is in any way good that any of this has happened, and this isn't even much of a silver lining. But I will be kind of looking out for or interested to see if, now that we'll have a reasonable sample size of games without a crowd there, how will they compare to the gazillion other games we've had over the last however many years with a huge crowd there? I.e., with less adrenaline, will the players run less? You know, will we see a drop in that? Will we see more goals, less goals? I wonder, will we see more away victories? All of these kind of interesting, like it's not an important thing, and you know, I'd sooner it didn't happen. But actually, there'll be a reasonably big sample size of games now with no crowd, and you get to see the home and away thing for what it might really be or not be.
The games will more than likely lack an edge to it. You know, when you're walking out of a tunnel, and you know the crowd starts becoming apparent, you get nerves as a player, you get butterflies, you get like adrenaline going, and you're kind of standing around in your tracksuit top, and then, you know, everyone, you know, waiting for the TV so you can start the game.
That speeds everyone up, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's all building, right? And you're all kind of going, okay, here we go, and then the game kicks off, and it's like, none of that'll be there now. It's just going to be quiet, empty stadium. TV cameras will be on the pitch, like walking round, but you'll be like, oh my God, it's dead. So I think the games will lack a bit of an edge. Leipzig have just scored again, have they?
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes it 3 there now.
87 minutes on the clock, 3-0 Leipzig. I saw the goal. I didn't want to interrupt you because I was curious to see what you'd say.
There'll be a lack of an edge to the game, really, to be honest with you, which will suit the away teams more, to be honest. I think.
Yeah. You watch this. I'm going to tell people, by the way, Virgin Media Sport is the new home of European football in Ireland. More than 400 UEFA Champions League, Europa League and Nations League games live this season. Virgin Media Sport exclusive to all Virgin Media TV customers, who can also download the TV in Anywhere app and stream all the action whenever and wherever they like. So the goal.
Yeah, look, Angelino, the Man City left back, actually, believe it or not, in behind again. You know, I know it's a back three, but they get down the sides of the back three, and it's a cross. It's kind of a pull back to the penalty spot. Eric Dyer dangles, would be generous, a lazy toed it, and almost deflected into.
That's the kind of lazy toe an amateur at five-a-side who wrecked would fling a leg out at something.
It would look, you know what, if you watch it, you think the referee blown his whistle and he just kind of threw a leg at it just to kind of, you know, a token effort type of thing.
If you remember, in the first half for one of the goals, he tried to make a clearance in the box, and we had the BT commentary up at that stage, and I'm not sure it was on CoCom, but he even just said, maybe it was Glenn Hoddle at half-time, he said, and look, even Eric Dyer's attempt to clear it there just looks a bit casual.
It looked like the whistle was gone and he was kind of like kicking the ball away, and it didn't. He just dangled the toe to it. Now, I know them ones can be difficult as a centre-back because...
Yeah, you're going one way.
Yeah, so you're going towards the near post, the ball gets pulled back, your whole body... So you do sometimes throw a leg hoping to get something on it. Give him the benefit of the doubt, but I think he was set, you know, and he still just kind of threw a leg out. But that's what I said to you about Dyer. He looks very immobile at the minute. He doesn't look light on his feet. Not that he ever did, I suppose, but, you know, he does look especially cumbersome, I suppose, would be the word you use for him. But anyway, it deflected back to the penalty spot, and a couple of shots blocked, and it just broke to a guy, and he bent it in the far corner. But, I mean, you know, on the whole, this game is, you know, the scoreline of 4-0 is probably reflective of how it's been over the two legs,
Forsberg, let you know, was the guy with the goal on 88 minutes. You know, with Dyer, I mean, you can't kind of read what's going on with someone from too far away. But when he climbed into the crowd the other week, that's not really in keeping with Eric Dyer, the person that we've seen for a number of years now. And maybe he is just really frustrated, obviously, with how things are going, but maybe with his body as well, and maybe he knows things aren't great.
I mean, obviously, he's still only a young man. He's 24, I think, Dyer is, you know. And he played a reasonable amount of football. You know, he's not been playing first-team football since he was... He's not Rooney at 15.
26, but yes.
Yeah, but he's not been playing first-team football since he was 15 or 16. he's not been blighted by injuries. I mean, he's had his fair share, but he's not been someone who's been, horrifically bad.
He's played 170 games for Spurs since 2014, so there should be more mileage in that road.
Absolutely. God almighty, that's a ridiculous. I didn't realise it was that low. If you average 50 a season, that's 3.5 years, and we're counting that over they got to 5.5, 6 seasons. So you're right. No, maybe a lot he missed this through injury, probably a lot of niggly little injuries, but still, at 26 with that mileage on the clock, no serious long-term injury where he was out for like a year or two, or 6 months, come back now for another 6 months. This year he just looks. He's gone, really, if I'm being honest with you. I think Tottenham will be probably looking to move him on. He's one they will probably look to move on.
OK, short break here. It'll be full-time in a moment in the Champions Leagues with Atalanta and Leipzig going through.
Football on Off the Ball.
With Paddy Power, the greatest football partnership since Jeff and Heskey.
Isn't it time to go exploring? To break away and feel something new? To witness the epic Slieve League sea cliffs at the edge of the world? To lose all track of time amidst the hidden histories of Birr Castle? To escape the ordinary on a cruise down the Shannon and make a memory to share forever? Because this country of ours is filled with wonders. Keep discovering at discoverireland.ie.
Race day, where all kinds of folk come together. The novices who pick their horses by jockey colours, and the binoculars-carrying crowd who do not. The trainers and jockeys that do it for the love of it, and the mates that bought a horse for the fun of it. Everyone here is having a moment, and there are a million more where those came from. Go on, get up! Oh, that's close. Horse Racing Ireland, for every racing moment. To experience yours, visit hri.ie.
There are plenty of reasons to get an official Volkswagen service, from the expertise of a Volkswagen master technician to the confidence in using only Volkswagen genuine parts. However, to the majority of drivers, only one reason really matters: what you get when you bring it all together, an official service history. In fact, 78% of Irish drivers would pay more for your Volkswagen if it has a full Volkswagen service history. Help protect your resale value and keep your Volkswagen a Volkswagen. Book your classic service from only €169 at volkswagenservice.ie. Terms and conditions apply.
And welcome to today's racing at Cheltenham, and they're off. The Irish Mirror, today's favourite, is already out in front, but each and every day there's interviews with riders on the inside, followed by views from traders, and coming through is our resident tipster, alongside live information on the day as they come into the final.
Get into Cheltenham. Get into the Irish Mirror. In print and online at irishmirror.ie.
Look, we need to have a chat, neighbour to neighbour. This is for laughing at how we say 33. And you can't even say Siobhan. For ruining words like banter. For it's coming home. For chain pubs and the state of the pints you serve. And for not caring as much about Ireland versus England as we do. But every year we get one chance. Our horses winning big on your turf. This March, Cheltenham's coming home.
Paddy Power, proud supporters of the Irish Cheltenham Takeover. Over 18s, please gamble responsibly. See dunlewy.net.
Football on Off the Ball.
With Paddy Power, the greatest football partnership since Jeff and Heskey.
So, full-time in the Mestalla. Valencia 3 at Atlanta 4. What a game. Everybody who was there enjoyed it. Sadly, very few people got to enjoy it.
Maybe there's something to do with the what I said today, games lacking edge, the lack of concentration.
I'm telling you, it's going to be an interesting, if ultimately unimportant, side note to all of this. We're going to get a sample size of these games and we'll see what happened. Now, Atalanta did whoop Valencia at home, so it's entirely possible they're just a better side than Valencia home or away. Leipzig 3, Spurs 0. 4-0 on aggregate. That is the end of Spurs. Champions League finalists last year in
Oh my God, they've developed a 5v3 here for some reason.
Come on, Spurs. 5v3. You can take a 5v3 Spurs.
And he shoots from distance with kind of some Spurs up, really. They're 5v3 and Gelson Fernandez
1v3.
Yeah, took a shot from distance.
Like the other four lads weren't with them.
You know what, they caught Leipzig on the break, and for whatever reason Leipzig players didn't run back, and it was 5v3 in one half of football. And he just travelled right at the heart of the defensive shot You got the coin. Oh, as a coach, you'd be looking going...
That wasn't a good moment for anyone there.
Yeah, that's what you call an absolute brain-dead moment, that.
I think they're tired and they want to get home. Get this
Probably, yeah, to be honest with you.
Over with. By the way, interesting piece. Dan McDonald was in yesterday, Kevin Doyle. He spoke to Kevin Doyle, who's now very serious into his racing. The week that's in it, really into it. And but there was one interesting thing he was saying. I was going to ask you about it, and we only have 2-3 minutes, so keep your answer brief but interesting. He was saying that he always treated his football as if it was a job. He said, even as an 18-year-old at St. Pat's, I never said I've got training tomorrow, or I never said I've got football tomorrow. He would say I've got work tomorrow. So he was that was always my approach to it. It's just work, strictly work. But he was dedicated as hell, but it was just work. And the other thing he said was, what he really doesn't miss now is that life of being told what T-shirt to wear with what tracksuit bottoms, with what top. And he said as well, he had a great line. He said, like in the real world, if you're late for a meeting, you just call ahead and say, I'm running late. It's no problem. He said, in football, if you're late for a meeting, it's like you took a shit on the kitchen floor. And he's like, I'm so glad to be away from that. Do you miss the routine at all?
Not at all, to be honest.
You'd be in that camp?
Yeah, I do. I mean, the only thing I miss is you know, the 90-minute game and then the battle of trying to get 3 points. And even then I kind of look at it and I go, I'd like it, and then I think of all, because if you take the good side of it, you have to take the bad side, and I kind of go, actually, maybe not. So I'd kind of let that go, but you know, I get where Doyle is coming from, you know. I always kind of knew that about him anyway, because that's how he would speak. You know, he was never someone that didn't love the game, do you know what I mean? But he wasn't absolutely engrossed and wrapped up in it and stuff like that. And I mean, when you look at his career at the back end, when he was kind of got kind of frozen out at Wolves, he just, you know, he said that's fine. Yeah. You know, he stayed at Wolves for a couple of years, came to Palace on loan when I was there, so I had 6 months with him there, and you could see that, yeah, it's fine. He lost the love of it, you know. Yeah. But that doesn't take away for what he achieved and his work. Oh, no. I mean, he genuinely...
He was a model professional.
He dedicated himself, but, you know, I think when he went home, he never talked or spoke about football, like, you know.
He said he'd come into the dressing room and you guys would all be saying, did you see Leipzig last night? And he'd be saying, no.
Yeah.
But by the same token, he was resting and having a perfect diet and getting to bed early, but he just wasn't bothered watching Leipzig. So it's a good piece, though. But yeah, he doesn't miss the old fines for being 2 minutes late for a meeting and all. Being treated like a child was how he kind of...
Pretty much, yeah. That's how it is. A lot of people like that, though. A lot of people like the routine and
comfort in it.
Yeah, the regimental kind of, you know, environment that you're in.
I think I would like it.
Would you?
Genuinely, yeah. A bit of routine would be nice.
You get everything like is put on for you, you know, from, you know, going in the training ground, like chefs that will make you what you want for your breakfast every morning and lunch, and take dinner home with you if you want. And
so far so good. I keep talking. I'm in.
Don't be late though for anything.
Don't be late. Yeah. It's gone full time. So 3-0. Jose walking off. One of those nights. I mean, I don't think anyone thought it was going to go the other way. Our daily breakfast sports show tomorrow, 7:30. OTB AM, get it on OTB Sports Radio via the Go Loud app. Tomorrow they'll have Martin Lipton talking about this game, and Cheltenham show from 9 a.m. 9 a.m. Cheltenham show. And then tomorrow should be a really good show. If you can't get to watch the game, we have Damien Delaney back in studio, Kenny Cunningham as well, Delaney and Cunningham. Liverpool against Atletico, so it should be really good, and we'll round up Cheltenham for you as well. Tom Dunn on the way, good luck.